Are you scared?
Is there any possibility of
I'm
a
not
coalition
scared
with the
of
DA?
anything.
Is there any?
I'm not scared of anything.
Any
Okay.
possibility of
No,
coalition with
I'm
the
not
DA?
thinking of it, Jane. I'm watching results. Outcome will determine whether we'll discuss coalitions or not. Results will tell us if we must discuss coalitions. At this point in time, we must look at the results, expect the outcome of the results.
So you're not scared of the
I'm
ANC
not scared of
losing its
anything.
majority?
I'm not scared of anything.
Will you have Jay-Z if you see him here?
Come again?
Will you have Jay-Z if you see him here?
No, I greet him. He's not my enemy. He has just broken away from the ANC. That doesn't make him an enemy.
But he said he is still a member of the ANC.
No, he's not. He walked away from the
What's the
ANC.
status of the disciplinary action against him?
I don't know. I'm not a member of the NDC. Okay, I'm not a member of the NDC. Okay. It's an independent structure that is doing that work on its own. Okay, allow me to sit and watch the results, please.
There is quite a montage.
Is there any possibility of
I'm
a
not
coalition
scared
with
of
the DA?
anything.
Is there any?
I'm not scared of anything.
Any
Okay.
possibility of
No,
coalition
I'm
with
not
the DA?
thinking of it, Jane. I'm watching results. Outcome will determine whether we'll discuss coalitions or not. Results will tell us if we must discuss coalitions. At this point in time, we must look at the results, expect the outcome of the results.
So you're not scared of the
I'm
ANC
not scared of
losing its
anything.
majority?
I'm not scared of anything.
Will you have Jay-Z if you see him here?
Come again?
Will you have Jay-Z if you see him here?
No, I greet him. He's not my enemy. He has just broken away from the ANC. That doesn't make him an enemy.
But he said he is still a member of the ANC.
No, he's not. He walked away from the
What's the
ANC.
status of the disciplinary action against him?
I don't know. I'm not a member of the NDC. Okay, I'm not a member of the NDC. Okay. It's an independent structure that is doing that work on its own. Okay, allow me to sit and watch the results, please.
That is quite a montage who is having a response after what we are seeing as shocking results for the ANC. Let me just do a refresh on the latest updates. We are sitting at 20.55% of the national votes, and the ANC is still leading, but the lead is really a disappointment because they are on 43.35%, while the DA is sitting comfortably there on the second position, 24.86. The last live stream saw the EFF sitting on 8%. It was a bit lower, but now it seems like they increased slightly to 8.84%. So is the MK, which is seems to be declining, by the way, but they're still there comfortably. I thought by this time would be having the EFF crossing that 200,000 mark, and they are still climbing 197, with the MK party having 177,000. So yes, guys, feed yourself. This is what's currently happening. And that is what tempted Gwere to be responding, saying that I am not scared. Because he knows that once he starts speaking too much, trouble will start calling his head. The ANC is shaking at the moment. It is not good to have 43% when 20% of the votes are calculated. If you go to the province, you find that it also paints a worrisome picture, because KZN is a province where the MK party is very strong. Let me just do a recheck of national. KZN is sitting comfortably there, having 42%, and ANC sitting on 21, while the IFP is there with 19%, and is telling us that people must be scared because the MK has arrived. And just to play a little bit of a clip from the ENCA, there is a Helen Zille responding
We've worked very, very
to
hard,
questions.
and I never count the chickens before they are all home to roost. I've had a lot of experience on this game before, and the roller coaster, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, so you've just got to take it absolutely calmly and wait till the end.
A lot of the leaders have been saying that. Everybody's just saying it's still too early to call, but we are seeing a lot of interesting results in terms of the new kids on the block. What do you make of the performance of MK that seemingly could be securing a couple of seats in Parliament?
Well, I'm sure they will, and it just speaks to the power of the ethnic identity vote. That's what it speaks to. I think that Jacob Zuma was the most senior representative of that particular group on the ballot paper, and he attracted the vote. So that talks to the power of the ethnic identity vote, yes.
Let's talk then about the DA's campaign. Quite controversial. Do you think it's hurt you or helped you in this election?
Well, I certainly think it's helped us. I mean, we certainly broke the sound barrier on a number of occasions, and that's good. And we told South Africans the truth, and that is excellent.
Now, when it comes to retaining the Western Cape, I assume you're quite confident that the DA will remain in government there. But which other provinces are you hoping to make some inroads in?
Well, you know, it's even in the Western Cape, it's too early to call. I feel that we will hold the Western Cape, yes, but by how much, I'm not prepared to say at this stage. But I'm confident we will remain a blue province, which is very important for South Africa as a whole. We're hoping to make good progress in several other provinces, but so far mostly small rural voting districts have come in. And the DA's major support base lies in the metro.
That is Helen Zille. Actually, what Gwede Mantashe said when he was being interviewed was to speak of tribalism in KZN, referring to Jacob Zuma and the result that we are seeing.
The possibility
In the KZN province, it was. Sorry, Mr. Mantashe, we didn't get a reaction regarding the lead of the MK in the KZN province. It was a bit
I
brief
said, you didn't listen. I said, MK is doing well in KZN. It has surprised me. I said so. Do you want me to repeat that?
Yes, please, I have my
I'm
camera.
repeating it. I'm repeating it. They surprised me in KZN. But I'm not expecting the same performance in other provinces.
Well, they surprised him, but if you look at Gauteng, as we are on KZN from Gauteng, we go and from national we go and check Gauteng, which is speaking about they are only going to be doing well in KZN, and he doesn't think they will do well in other provinces. But if you go and check in Gauteng with 13% completed, you really realize that they have a percentage of 9, and then the ANC has 34. Really, whether shouldn't be speaking about only one province, because we can see that even in other provinces, MK is still a formidable force. 9%, 32,000 votes, as compared to EFF having 40,000, 11%, and the DA 105, ANC leading by 121,000. So, Gwede Mantashe must stop bluffing. They are all scared because what MK is doing is reducing all their percentage. And I do not think they expected that to happen, because whatever they thought would be that MK would not be doing anything but a humble pie to the ANC and their leaders. This is the Eastern Cape, which is comfortably at 64.79%. I'm just trying to check if the network is okay, guys. If you are not able to catch up, please let me know. So basically, you just let me know if there's any issues regarding the network so that we can do a reboot. But anyway, in Eastern Cape, as we can see, there's a slight change with the EFF growing. ANC having 244,100 votes. And as compared to the second position, DA with just 55,914, 64% for the ANC, meaning that in Eastern Cape, they are assured they'll still have a premier that side. And the Free State also, they keep jumping up. Now they are at 52%, 52.67%, meaning that in that province, people are happy with the ANC. They like what they see. And DA is sitting at 21. The EFF still trying to climb 12%, which gives us a Freedom Front Plus 6,000 MK. Well, they grew well from where they were. Now they are sitting. They are sitting at. Sorry, I was just looking at the comments. They are sitting at 4,919, which is very good for them because at first it looked like they are looking to fight, but now they've risen. 4,000. I mean, almost 5,000. 5,000 votes is not bad, considering that is not the stronghold province for the MK party, the new kid on the block. Even Gwede Mantashe is scared, and he spoke about tribalism when referring to MK party. ATM, 1,000 still. PA still on 900. And you'd be interested to look at Action SA, which I think we'll have to go back and check them on the national, because Action SA, the same as Rise Mzansi, a lot of money has been wasted here. Together with Musi Maimane. Such a disappointing results for these guys. As you can see, Claudi, ACM, he's fighting, but he's on, I forgot about Ace. Claudi is sitting at 744. Where is that other one? Free State. Shouldn't ATM, Action, ACM, ACDP. Go Prime Zanzi. Okay. As we can see, the ACM sitting down, and Bossa, Musi Maimane, is sitting at 425. And a very disappointing results for Musi Maimane. I'm sure wherever he's sitting, he knows very well that the only hope he has now is to have one seat in parliament. If you can't have that seat, it's going to be a problem for you, Musi, because the real guns are working. And Musi getting 400 votes. It seems like he was not doing the work that many have been doing. And it's such a shame for Musi, but hopefully he learns from this, and the next elections, if he will be able to run, he can do better. From the Free State, let us check. Okay, we spoke about Gauteng, we spoke about KZN, and we'll come back later. And then there is Mpumalanga, which is the stronghold of ANC, but the emergence of MK seems to be showing a problem for the ANC, because it means there is a reduction in their percentage. And on number 3, as you can see, MK is number 2 with 16%. And number 3, we have the EFF, the party that many really wanted to see it working well. But it seems like people didn't go out in numbers to pick the EFF as that party to go for. Please, Stephen says, please explain which colors represent which parties. Let me see. So basically here, the green column represents the ANC. And you have the pink one is MK party, and the red one is EFF. So far, and you have Freedom Front Plus with the purple color. And when you look so far, the white color, by the way, it means the places where they have not yet counted, it's no results. And if you look, the ANC is all over the place. they are all over the place and making sure that Bumalanga people know who to vote for, because that's where they butter the bread for ANC supporters. If not, why would they then go as far as voting everywhere for ANC? And then in Northern Cape, they are almost done. It's not a big province. They are almost done at 71.92%. And the colors, as you asked me to explain, showing the ANC with a green color, and the DAs also all over the place with a yellow color, together with the number 3, the EFF. I don't see the red color here. I don't see the red color. Maybe it's hidden somewhere. But the EFF is number 3. Okay, here's are the red colors. Just small regions, I would guess. That's where the EFF is showing. And as of now, the people of Northern Cape are not choosing the ANC unless something happens. If really people don't want to see ANC in power, when you see something like 47%, they have to work together against them. But again, as I said earlier on, when they work together, they will be bringing people like what we see in city of Johannesburg, someone from a party with 1% becoming a premier. There's also an issue when people work together like a coalition of many parties as compared to maybe ANC and someone else. So we are likely to see a coalition. If it's a coalition against the ANC, it means that we are going to see a lot of parties which will have to make up the 50% and defeat the ANC. But in the end, it means all those parties will need to do something, because we know that coalition never worked. The best example you can get in terms of coalition is city of Johannesburg. So ANC, just get the 3% if you want to be comfortable, or else we won't get a premier from the ANC. And that's Northern Cape. We go to Limpopo. Last time we checked, Limpopo was comfortably in the favor of ANC. And as we can see, it's only 10% counted. And the ANC and the EFF just passed the DA, becoming number 2. Last time we did the stream earlier on, the DA was the second position. And now it seems like when the EFF increases, the ANC is shooting. Now, the ANC is on 71 and only 10% of the votes counted. It is a problem. I did say that the previous years when they were voting in Limpopo, the ANC kept on rising. But are we going to see a huge rise in terms of how these people are going to work? And on the comments, okay, Steven says, thanks, watching on phone and chat is small. Okay, I understand, Steve. When will the counting end, and when will we receive final results as a country? I am sure we are going to know, because there is a media briefing around 1600, I think, in about 26 minutes. So if you stay until that time, we will be able to know what is going on, because the IEC will be briefing us in terms of what is the way forward. Remember, the latest people to finish voting was around 5 a.m. this morning. Normally, we know that if we are voting, we just vote for one day and it's done. So the latest was this morning, meaning it's possible that we are going to have results by Sunday. Tomorrow is Friday. They might keep on going. And by Saturday, they will just be doing double checks and making sure that everything has been accounted for. And you're going to see Matamela there by the IEC center. You're going to see Julius and the MK leader, Jacob Zuma. They will have to hug. They will have to shake hands. But as Gwede said, he has no problem with Jacob Zuma. Deep down, he knows that Zuma is a force that is bringing problems. Anyway, as we are on Limpopo, with the 10% that has already been calculated, MK has received From last time we saw that they were around 500, they have doubled. They have 1,081 votes from Limpopo. The artist Papa Penny, he has been working now because he came with 1,000 votes. Do they make a difference? Certainly not in the province of Limpopo, but nationally something is happening. And as you can see, Action SA is struggling to even go on top of the MK. Action SA, which has been there, and I kept on referring to Action SA because this is what many have been saying that it has to do something. But it seems like the people of Limpopo do not believe in Action SA. And what do you guys think about Musi Maimane? Musi is someone who I even thought myself that this guy is going to do something. And the real truth is, it's possible for Musi not to even go to parliament because they are rejecting him. And what about Rise Mzansi? You know, the issue of Rise Mzansi having posters as early as January. Now, it seems like those millions went to waste. Because how is Rise Mzansi just getting so little votes when it seemed like these guys have a good mandate and a good budget? Sunday is the last day to count. Fortunate says, I think so. Fortunate. I think by Sunday, that's when everything will be completed because for now, a lot is going on. And remember, there were a lot of issues in terms of people voting and in terms of wrapping up everything. So, but anyway, we are going to know as soon as 1600 hits, we are going to check the live stream on online and just follow it up so that we can find out what's going on. And this is Limpopo. We go as far as the northwest. And northwest, the ANC, which is in green, it's sitting comfortably at 63, but don't panic yet. It's just 16% counted. The white mark shows that a lot of votes have not been counted. And then there is the EFF there, as it's showing number 2 spot with just looks like just one district completed, and they got a lot of votes there. They are on 14,000, with the DA having on a yellow color few of the district, but you can see that it's a big area, but they're just on 8,000. And the fourth in purple, the Freedom Front Plus, only 3,000. It is a huge margin, a huge win for the ANC, sitting at 63 with just 16%. People still love the ANC. People still love it. Stephen Howard, please drink water. I will do that. I will do so. I have water by my side, and I keep doing that with my husky voice. I really need to do that. Uno, FX, Cyril, and Zuma, they should shake hands. This is politics, my brother. I don't think, okay, they will shake hands, but the way Zuma speaks about getting arrested, something, it's not going to be as easy as we think because Zuma is not happy with Ramaphosa. And if Ramaphosa sees it as an okay thing, we'll just have to see on Sunday how they're going to react to each other. MK is 1,000. So it does seem like in Northwest, they love MK, but not as much as any of the 4 parties that we see, because we don't think, we didn't expect MK to have such love from other provinces. I thought it's going to just be KZN and be Mpumalanga and be Gauteng, then it's done. But if they are able to go as far as on top of Action SA, then we know that there is something that that MK has done during the election which others didn't do. And I think the court cases give them a lot of support because they kept taking him to court, and eventually people started feeling sorry for Zuma. Action SA is nowhere to be found. I think just one dot and 984, and the rest of the party again. Rise Mzansi is just at 291. All that budget is used, and Rise Mzansi can't go anywhere. As for Musi Maimane, it's worse because this is the former DA member, the former DA leader who went to launch a book. You know, it seems like it's all about careers because Musi goes to launch a book before elections. I don't know what was the importance of that. He probably thought, if I launch a book, people are going to feel sorry and think that I was victimized there by the DA, and they are going to have that compassion for me and vote for me. It wasn't that way. No one is voting for Musi, getting, as much as it's still early stage, but for Musi to be getting 230, it must be a concern. He should be concerned himself. And the IFP sitting at 55 is not doing them any justice. The rest, I mean, 11 votes PMC. I'm sure my family can vote for him and outvote him. And the last province that we are covering, you can see by the colors, it's the Western Cape. This is the province of Lebanon says, please talk about, what is it, UAT? What is that? Is it one of the parties? Because some of these parties are really unknown. I'll just check it. Are unknown. I don't even know them. Because there's a lot of parties, and I think they were over, if I'm not mistaken, over 100 or up there. And all of them wanted to win, but some of them don't even have 2 votes. And here's the Western Cape leading DA 49. And that's a decline for the DA. If you look, they have declined not because of the ANC, but because of number 3, the PA. The DA sitting on yellow colors with 49.32. And you have the ANC, the green colors, and you can just see it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regions, and very small, while the DA is having a lot of them. And there is the Patriotic Alliance in blue, covering also a significant distance in terms of the voting. They're sitting on 11.51%. Zion, the music says EFF all the way in Germany. EFF all the way, I'll tell you what, they're sitting on the 4th position, 19,000 votes, 4%. It is not their stronghold, the Western Cape, sitting at that, comparing them to the DA with 225,000. They tried, but it's not easy. I mean, look at the MK party. They've got 2,466 in Western Cape. No, people really liked Zuma. They love Zuma. And I mean, wasn't Musi Maimane the leader of the DA, which is based in Western Cape, but said to see how things are going for him? 1.9. 32% votes, 1.9. Oh, that's a shame. ATM is there, PAC, Rise Mzansi again, 1.5. Action SA sitting at 1,000. Now, when you go down, look, there's ACT. Who's that? Ace Makashule. He even got votes in Western Cape. Maybe he's going to get 1 seat eventually. As I drink water, let me just open the national ones, because this is the game changer. And let us discuss the national and see how things are going. Just to refresh a bit. Chawalala, can we go to what? Free State. I'll come back to Free State. A Act. I'll come back to Free State. Don't worry. EFF also. Where is ACT in Free State? Oh, it seems like you guys want to see ACT. You really want to see. Okay, let's just go quickly. You really want to see how that man Ace Mahashule has done. It's going to shock you if you were expecting the best. It's the West. Where is he? Where is ACT here? It's Free State. Wait. MKATM PA Action ACM. Let's check it under. He's not showing anywhere. Oh, I think should be under Provincial. Okay, no. Under Provincial, he should unless I opened the wrong one. Let me check it first under National if they're showing. Okay, it's not showing under National, but under Provincial. Okay, there is your ACT. Seems like he disappeared now. Free State ACT. Why is he not showing? I would think he should be showing, even if he has less votes. Let's just scroll down to see. Oh, wow. No way. If you wanted to see where he's staying, how far he is. Oh, my mistake. My mistake. Why is it showing Free State? No, it shouldn't be showing Eastern Cape. Shouldn't be showing Eastern Cape. Just a second. Let's see Free State this time. Maybe it's gonna update. Okay, we are under Free State. Still no ACT. I don't know why. No, I'm on Free State now, but still they are not showing. I mean, you can't tell me that Claudi got more votes than Ace Mahashule. Let me check again because there is no way that is happening. And let's check Provincial and Free State. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, we are back now on Provincial. I don't know what we were doing wrong. But okay, not as much as I wanted to say, but it seems like they like him. Yes, 3,428. Did you vote for Ace? Because if you did, as we are looking at the time, because if you did, it seems like he got 1.9%. Well, is it going to be enough? Let's see, because we are on 35% complete. And MK Party doing numbers there. VF Plus doing numbers. EFF, the third, 12%. In the province of the Free State, with the DA standing at 38,000 votes with 21%, and the ANC remains comfortable. What more do you guys want to see? ACE is not doing good. ACE is not doing good. But guys, before we go to other provinces that you want to see, let us go to national and just be able to be sure what's going on with national. So a lot of people must be going on the website of IEC now because it keeps and it's showing improvement. They are now on 21.11%. ANC is just closer to a million mark. If you want to know the colors of ANC are green. So they are sitting at green with 43%. They are last time they were on 42. They are climbing to 43. Gwere is praying. Ramaphosa is praying. They are hoping that it goes further until, if it's bad, it must be 49.9 or 49%, because they can easily go down and get 1% from Action SA or even VF Plus. But comfortably also, the DA has improved, sitting on 24.69. Damba, we are going to check Limpopo, don't worry, my man. And also, the EFF, nationally, they are on 8%. Let's all be honest. We really, really hoped that the EFF would be going closer to 20%. And let us hope maybe there are things contributing to this and they will still come back. But 21% counted, 79 still to come. 8% needs to go closer to 15 if they really would be doing well, because if EFF declines, oh, that is going to be a problem. Actually, looking at the fact that they've been all around the country campaigning. And you have MK. We must be honest, most of the issue about MK, the votes about MK, the majority comes from KZN. There's no question about that. They whooped the ANC in KZN. They took that province. The voting is not, the counting is not yet done, but the majority of MK comes from that province. As you can see, the 100,000 mark is coming for the Patriotic Alliance. You look at the fact that Kenny Kunene would be joining him there. IFP is declining. They are on 2%, but as we can see, it's only just 21% of the votes. What else do we want to see? You have Action SA. Oh, they are improving. At least there is something, 18%. UDM, 12%. ACDP is on 14. ATM, and there is Bosa. Musimaiman is struggling. I mean, I thought the magic would be working. Musimaiman is standing on 7,000, while Raz Mzansi, with a huge budget, is sitting there at 7,381. It reminds me of 2019 BLF and how they got embarrassed. And now it seems like, look at Ace Makashule. I hope they voted. He needs a seat. Just one seat is enough for Ace Makashule in parliament. And Cope is dead. That one, that's for sure. Cope is dead. There's no longer going to be a party called Cope. And unfortunately, Claudi can't even break the 1,000 mark nationally. He's sitting on 771. Rushdie says, I see you like Bossa. No, not that I like Bossa, but I had expected him to do well, because Musi Maimani spoke like someone who's going to come as a force and change everything. I think he spoke too soon, so I'm responding to how I thought he was going to really work things out. Okay, on the comments, that's enough, my brother. Ace must humble himself and join MK. The same with brother Musi Maimani. I don't see Musi joining MK, unfortunately. And national election, please, and talk about the EFF and if all people might vote. Well, they've already voted. The EFF, maybe they are going to surprise us and do more than 15%, but with just 21.11%, there is still a lot of hope. Maybe there are regions where the EFF was strong and they are not yet counted. But history tells us that what you see here on the leaderboard is not going to change dramatically. There will be changes. Let's just check the IEC if they are willing to start anytime soon. Electoral Commission. Okay. Once they start, we are going to go live. Let us just be patient until we get the live stream. Can we go back to KZN? Yes, we can, as long as we are just waiting for these people to start. And once we start, I will just keep quiet and let you guys listen. KZN, let's see. They like KZN because it seems like that is where the magic is happening. We are on KZN, and KZN is going to win. MK is going to win KZN. They are leading with 42%, ANC 21, and the IFP sitting at 19%. It has never been done before. What ANC is witnessing there by the KZN, they have never seen such a formidable force before. MK, Jacob Zuma. I did a comparison looking at Jacob Zuma in office as the president as to compare to the previous leaders, and even comparing Ramaphosa. In KZN, when Jacob Zuma came, what we saw is the story of an increase in KZN, but as soon as he left, there was a decrease. Even before he came, there was a decrease, and he came and increased. So it seems like they love him more than any other leader. I don't know what more do you guys want to see. The ball has a puncture for Bossa. Yeah, Bossa is dying. Sheila says, what is your prediction for national? Well, at the moment for national, as they're still counting, but it looks like ANC is definitely going to go below 50%. If they don't go below, it is going to probably be 51%. And that is when we are going to get theories of rigging, because no one is going to want to lose to the ANC on 51. So that is what I think. But as we are going, I'm sure tonight around 9 p.m., we are going to have a clear picture of who's really in the leaderboard. Kolisi says ANC will get 50% and things will go back to normal. Of course, if they get 50%, it's cool out. There won't be anyone to talk anything, because they would know that once the ANC has won, everyone will keep quiet and let them do what they have to do, because they will be having a majority. Please do Gauteng after. We'll check that. Hopefully, we are going to start with the media briefing of the IEC soon. They can't control the EFF. That should be a clue. Having too many parties dilute the ability to progress for the people. Yes, I think even with now independent candidates, it's a big problem. It's a very huge problem, because anyone who has money or who has support and think that because their family members and relatives told him that you can be a great leader, now they want to contest for elections. And it's such a shame when you go and contest and you end up getting less than 10,000 votes. This is the national. Okay, I think they said Gauteng. Let me see Gauteng. This is the picture in Gauteng. ANC still leading on 34.54%, with the DA at second position, climbing that ladder for 29.85%, and the EFF still sitting at 11%. That is the picture that we are having in, just checking the live stream. That is the picture that we are having in Gauteng. And MK actually has 8,000 less votes than the EFF, and they are sitting on 9%. What more do you want to see? How many? Having two? Okay. Guys, we should at least have a four-party. We're going to build South Africa. Remember, going to parliament is a good thing for many, because it comes with benefits. So if we say that less parties, they are not going to agree, these people. They know there's money there. Once you are in politics, you'll be having a lot of money in parliament. Okay, guys, for now, let us listen to the media briefing.
Ladies and gentlemen, good
by
afternoon.
IEC.
Welcome to the National Results Operations Center, coming live to you from Midrand, Gallagher Estate, the place where we'll be sharing every little bit of information on the 2024 national and provincial elections. This afternoon, we're going to be briefing on progress of results for the 2024 national and provincial elections. A warm welcome to The Rock. I'm going to hand over to the Chief Electoral Officer to take us through progress on counting. Tate Mamabolo.
Good afternoon and welcome. Your Excellencies, welcome. The last ballot was cast in the early hours in the Arcadia Swembad voting station in Tshwane, thus marking the conclusion of voting in the national and provincial elections 2024. True to its undertaking, the Commission assisted all voters that were in the queue at 2100 hours. Just after midnight, the Commission announced the first result. This was in a voting district in the Winnie Madikizela Mandela municipality in the Eastern Cape. For all intents and purposes, counting procedures have now been concluded with only a few voting stations reported to still be counting at around 3. The process of the results compilation entails ensuring accuracy and validation of those results. This process involves scanning each result slip to create an image of that slip, a double-blind capture of each result, auditing of the result slip by independent auditors. The result system has also been externally audited, and political parties and candidates who desired had occasion to also audit the result system. By 1600 hours, results had been concluded for 22.6% of the 23,292 voting districts, which represents 2.3 million votes cast. As a result is considered complete only when a result slip has been scanned into an image, captured onto the result system, audited by independent auditors, and has gone through the automated results exception parameters. The rate of result capture is as follows. The Gauteng province has captured 28%, Limpopo 26%, Northwest 36%. The leading pack is Northern Cape at 63%, the Free State 56%, KwaZulu-Natal 23%, Mpumalanga Province 42%, the Eastern Cape 58%, and the Western Cape 57%. So that is the status as it relates to capturing, not necessarily auditing and exception handling. The Electoral Commission thanks the real heroes of the 2024 national and provincial elections. These are South Africans who stood in the queues and electoral staff who worked tirelessly to process the votes. The commitment and patience shown by the voters and electoral staff demonstrate their commitment to our electoral democracy. The process to finalize results of each voting station unfolds as follows. Once the results have been counted and finalized, the presiding officer and party agents will, in the presence of observers, sign the result slip, which will then be placed in a tamper evident bag and transported to the local capturing site. At the results capturing center, a check and a balance process will ensue. This includes checking that the result slip is in the correct form, has details of the voting stations and those of the presiding officer, as well as the voting station unique barcode. It is then captured onto the system using the double-blind capture method. Using the barcode, the result slip is then scanned and the results are electronically matched with the appropriate voting district. External auditors will then audit the results to ensure that it is captured correctly. The results are then taken through the Commission's exceptions parameters, and if an exception is flagged, the result is investigated and taken through the recapture process if necessary. Once the results pass that test, it then becomes final and available to political parties, independent candidates, and yourselves as the media. Once the results are all captured and finalized, the Commission will undertake the seat calculation process based on a prescribed formula in the Electoral Act. The full list of new public representatives will be handed over to the Chief Justice once the seat assignment is concluded. While this process is proceeding well, it is important to reflect that historically, in the first 24 hours, 80% of the results would have been finalized. However, the process in the 2024 elections has been slowed down by the third ballot, particularly in metropolitan areas. According to the Electoral Act, the Commission has 7 days within which to announce the results. We have always been able to declare and announce the results well within this period and will endeavor to do so even on this occasion. I thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO Mamabolo. I'm going to open the floor for questions. And please, if someone has already asked the question, I realized yesterday that we repeat ourselves, but let's try and keep it in. I'm going to start, let's do blocks. Blocks I think works better for us. I'm going to start block 1, block 2, and then end up with block 3. May I request Asharas to make sure that we're not losing any hand. I'm going to start this side. Busi, can you start there? And then once you are done, the mic will come to this block. I don't see any other eyes. Are there hands at the back? All right, beautiful. I can see you. Thank you. Can we have some volume with Busi's mic? Can we please, can we have another mic? Borrow us another mic?
Thank you. Testing. Thank you. Busi Chimambe, SABC News. A quick one. I just wanted to find out, when you talk about exceptions parameters that please can you tell us what those comprise of?
Thank you. It's Natasha Perry here from SABC News. I just want to find out if any objections have been raised with voting yesterday. I know a lot of political parties had raised their concerns over the VMD systems, power cuts at some voting stations. And then in regards to the second objection, in terms of the results, can you just please also talk us through that process for clarity-seeking processes? Thank you.
The hand at the back, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. It's James Kemp here from Pretoria FM. You referred to, or rather the CEO referred to certain voting stations where votes are still being counted. Is that in specific areas, and what was the reason for the delay that there's still votes being counted at this stage?
Thank you very much. Can we move to this block, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rebecca Davis, Daily Maverick. Can you tell us, was anyone turned away from voting? Secondly, what percentage of presiding officers had experience previously in elections, if you know? And thirdly, we heard at least one account of a presiding officer yesterday being fired on the spot in KZN. How many presiding officers were fired yesterday? Thank you.
Good evening, Paul Vecchiato from Bloomberg. Can you give us some indication on any objections to the vote counting? Whereabouts, so in other words, the observers asking for recounts again. How many times have you seen this? What the impact that is on the final vote count? Thank you.
I'm Itumeleng from The Citizen. Firstly, I'd like to ask, based on the comments of ANC Chairperson Gwede Mantashe, that the strong numbers in KZN are because of tribal votes. Are we able to tell what nationalities of people voted, in those elections? And then I'd also like to ask about Orania in the Northern Cape. Is there diversity of votes there? Thank you.
Hi, Mohammed Hussein from News 24. Could you tell us, there's been multiple reports of voters being turned away from voting stations despite having updated their details and received confirmation of that change. But when they appeared at the specific voting stations, officials told them their details were not reflected on the IEC systems. Thanks.
My name is Norman Masungu.
We're taking the last one from this block.
Norman Masungwini from City Press.
Okay.
Now that the voting is controlled, you've started counting. Can you share with us in terms of the voter turnout, the numbers, what are we looking at? And when you compare to 2019, would you call it a success, and why? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. May we pause? On that note, we'll take the last questions from third block when we come back. CEO, can we respond to the first block of questions? And then we take the last round, which will be the last block. Chairperson Ntate Musotumiapia, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, friends, countrymen, countrywomen, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to see you with the hand that you lend to this process. We know that this election you would, like us, want to see concluded well. I'm not going to deal with all the questions. There are certain kinds of questions that obviously will be dealt with by the CEO, but there are others that members of the Commission would need to deal with. And those are the ones that I intend dealing with. But perhaps the last question that deals with voter turnout. And I imagine, my brother, you've been accredited as the media. They would be available to you because every result has. The point we made last night, and I want to underscore that point because it's an important point that you raise. Every result that's on the board will tell you a complete story. It will tell you how many voters are registered there, how many valid votes were counted, what were the spoiled ones, and what was the voter turnout. It is not the same from one place to the other. At the end of this exercise, we are going to deal with voter turnout as a composite number. But for now, you would be able to say, with the results that have been finalized, what proportion of those results do have, and what is their voter turnout. The questions I want to deal with as well are the issues relating to objections. As you know, there are objections that were raised throughout the day at the voting stations with presiding officers. Those objections have been dealt with by the presiding officers. There are a few that members or whoever objected or raised that objection say, well, I have heard my objection has been fully dealt with, or I'm not satisfied with this. Those kinds of objections are being sent to the Commission, and we have received those. We are, in fact, spending time dealing with them. But I must indicate they're very insignificant in number. This is not dealing with other categories of objections that ordinarily the law provides must be raised before 2100 hours tomorrow. The third issue that I thought I would deal with, and Kolobe, I think this is an issue that I thought I should just deal with because I'm here. It's the comment, citizen, that you raised about our comment on the ANC chairperson and diversity of votes in Orania. I think on the first one, I certainly don't have. We have been very tough, and I think the best person would be the ANC chairperson, in truth. But we haven't had, and I think it would not be correct. I think people vote where they are ordinarily resident. We don't do, and there is no requirement in law for us to go and do an analysis of so-and-so resides there. And, when they reside there, the address, provides that they live in that area. That's really what we do. And so it does not engage for one area of the country diversity and in another area no diversity. Those are the ones I thought I should deal with.
In the question related to exceptions, there are a different genre of objections which are system generated. There are exceptions that relate to voter turnout. In other words, the system sets a certain parameter to say if there's turnout of more than 100%, as an example, it will be an exception that requires an investigation. Secondly, the second genre is if a party gets 200 votes on the provincial ballot and get 2 votes on the national ballot. It doesn't mean it's necessarily incorrect, but it calls for caution. Hence, it raises an objection. The stations at which counting was happening at around 3 include those that had voted until much late, including Arcadia, Swembad, including places such as Johannesburg's City Hall, Durban City Hall, and the like. So those are some of the stations that had a huge counting endeavor to make. Remember that the quantum to count at those stations is influenced by 2 factors. One, the fact that those stations are counting 3 ballots, and 2, that there's a high turnout. So when in the past it would have taken, let's say, 2 hours to conclude the counting, in the present case it would take 3.5 hours and so on. So those really, I presume that at this stage the counting process may in fact be concluded. any voters turned away? Indeed, there may be instances where voters may be turned away for a myriad of reasons. It may be that they were not at the correct voting station. In terms of the Electoral Act, you vote where you are registered unless you had a Section 24A approved. In instances where a person had a proof that they had applied for a Section 24A, those were investigated if they were brought to the attention, and where a ballot was due, it was given. Recounts are not necessarily authorized by the Commission unless the result slip had been concluded, but if still within the confines of a voting station, party agents together with the presiding officer will find one another on the necessity or otherwise for recounts. However, if in the process of investigating an exception, it becomes necessary to order a recount, it can also be reordered by the Commission, but in the context of finalizing a result in the system. I think all questions are answered. Thank you.
I'm going to go to Block 3 for the last questions for this press briefing.
Thank you, Kate. Faith Daniels from ENCA. I'd like to find out just a sentiment from the IEC if you are satisfied with how things progressed yesterday and the counting at the moment, given the fact that you are being criticized by members of the public and political party agents, saying that things really should have run smoother. And we were well aware of the third ballot and the fact that that would have some sort of impact. Thanks.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Olufunto and I work for International IDEA. Just a quick question on the role of the auditors in the results management process. If you could throw more light on that and specifically to let us know, does the IEC cover the cost of those auditors in the process? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Diane Hawker from Deutsche Welle. The question relates to the IEC staff and the training that they received. A lot of the complaints that we've been hearing from members of the public and also issues witnessed on election day, it did seem like there were issues in terms of the understanding by staff in different voting stations as to what should happen if the machines didn't work. Some people were told, no, we can't continue, or in some stations we heard of voting stopping completely when it shouldn't have. Is the IEC concerned, or does it have any comment on the level of training that it gave its staff ahead of this election?
That's about it. I request Peladi. Are you done, Ceci?
Sorry, can I ask a question, please? Rachel Savage from The Guardian.
I can't hear you. Can you just raise your voice properly?
Rachel Savage from The Guardian. I was wondering if I could ask a follow-up question about turnout. Is the IEC able to give us a more precise projection of final turnout, and can you say for sure whether turnout increased compared to the 2019 national elections? Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Please let us not repeat the questions. I'm only going to take the questions from the online platform as we wrap up. CEO, I see a lot of waving at the back. Peladi, do you have any online questions, please?
We've got two questions online. One is from Bongam Tembu from Lokshin FM.
The IEC has vowed to take action after 474 out of 500 registered parties failed to submit audited financial statements. What actions will the IEC take against those parties going forward? And the last one is from Ndivuo Mlauzi, Future Stars Media. There had been reports of large number of voters being turned away just after 9 p.m., especially in the metropolitan areas. Has the Commission been aware of that? If so, what measures are being done to hold those accountable? 2, were more resources allocated to voting stations that had no longer turnout, that had no longer turnout of voters? I think, yeah.
Say that again, Piladi, sorry.
Yeah, I think
Okay, read it
there's a
slowly,
typo
let's
here.
hear.
So
What
it says, were more resources allocated to voting stations that had, I think it's lower turnout of voters,
Okay.
not longer. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we get you. CEO.
Thank you for those important questions, and we appreciate them. A critique of the Commission and our view. Our view is that we should never be defensive. Is that we are going to listen to and observe the things that are being raised and deal with them from where they are raised, in the best interest of the work we do and the work that this country expects that all of us will do. We note, though, that there is critique that is fair and critique that is not fair. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. And I want to really indicate something. I had the opportunity this morning to hear parties that are contesting, answering journalists on television about where they are at. And they truly captured that moment well, not just for themselves, but for everyone who at this point is working hard in this election. Some of them said this is the most anxious moment for them. And they said, we want this work to conclude so that we know the outcome. That's where the Commission is at. We are not looking at who's saying what and who's doing what. We are looking at, let's focus on this task. Let's get it done in a manner that will provide everyone an opportunity to deal with a complete picture. At the moment, we are trying to deal with a picture that it's half-baked, and in fact, maybe not even half-baked. It is still in the oven. And so we want to ensure it gets out of the oven. We take note of what is being said. The things we can deal with, obviously we will deal with. But criticism, it's not an issue we are going to complain about now. We will deal with. The second issue I want to raise with that is that we have voices that are speaking here. But we have voices that have been speaking consistently in the stations yesterday. As results come in, those voices are seen, party agents, observers, and others. And I want to raise this and say, I understand that the first set of observers would issue their results or their observations publicly from tomorrow. I think it's also an important area that one has to appreciate and listen to. But there's also a third area that we need to say. We are still in the period that is regulated by the Electoral Code of Conduct. The election results have not been declared, and the code is clear. It holds true. It is valid. until we declare the outcome of the results. And we urge every one of the all political contestants, parties and independents, and their supporters to please be reminded that this matter is just as live as the results that we have to complete. The last issue I wanted to deal with, in fact, I could deal with the other one because it's also straightforward. Projection of voter turnout. May I answer this with an analogy? If you asked a judge so-and-so, you're going to hear this matter, you've been allocated to hear this matter, or you are hearing this matter, but it's not concluded. What do you think the outcome is going to be? What do you think the judge is going to say? They'll say, no, we don't deal with that matter in that manner. For us, the results can never be like a poll. We can never project. We've got to deal with the real thing. And so I'm asking, and I really want to ask sincerely, to say, where you have the results, you don't even need a projection because that voter turnout is there. But for us, the picture must be complete, and we must then comment on that complete picture. Party funding, someone asked the question. We have failed to take action on political parties, and I think if I understood the question correctly, that understanding was incorrect from the person asking the question. We have in fact dealt with that matter conclusively, and the political parties that were impacted are dealing with that matter as a consequence of what the courts have directed we should do. I really thank you for these sincere questions, and I want you to know that we are hard at work to conclude this work. You haven't seen us, I imagine, on this floor mostly today, but we have been engaging with these things because we do want to keep our heads focused to conclude this work and for us to be completely accountable and open to you on all the questions that do mean a lot to you and mean a lot to us. I thank you very much indeed.
No, Chairperson dealt with it. No, thank you. Thank you very much. The training of staff. Staff were trained over a period of 4 days. They had to complete a series of modules, understanding the role of the Commission, understanding the registration process, the counting process, the voting process, and so on. All these are modules that they had to do. They further had to do practicals in terms of how to do the voting station layout, how to configure the ballot box, ballot compartments, and so on. Now, I did indicate that staff were recruited on the basis of an agreed recruitment and selection criteria. That criteria and recruitment and selection criteria were agreed to with political parties in the National Political Liaison Committee. Of necessity, that policy had to take account of the pervasive unemployment in the country, so that those, especially young people who are unemployed, are given an opportunity to work, do something positive for their country, and so on. But of course, when you take people who are unemployed and perhaps with no previous work experience, it does impair a bit the quality of the process that you manage. Hence, our position has always been that you need, in the management echelon of voting stations, experienced staff, people who have done things and so on, and supplement those then with people that may be unemployed. So it is not an either-or scenario, but it's a confluence of those two imperatives that must be brought together. The results auditors, they are appointed by the Commission following a competitive procurement process, but they are independent. It's a consortium consisting of 3 independent audit firms. What does their role entail? They looking at the original result slip from the voting station against what is captured in the system, and they checking if there are discrepancies. And indeed, if there are no discrepancies, each auditor has a unique audit code which they input into the system, confirming the correctness of the result. Only once that has happened is that result relayed into the results database. And because we procure them, we pay for them.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll come back later in the evening when we update on results. I must release the leadership of the Electoral Commission. On our ground, we've got officials that needs their decisions. Bommele Bontate, Commissioners, CEO, you are released. Thank you very much. 8 p.m. press briefing. Thank you very much.
Hello, guys. We've listened, and hopefully now some people have clarity. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm not sure if you can, but if you can, we go back to our issues regarding the leaderboard. I'm just gonna refresh it and let's see, since they started speaking, how far they went. As we can see, it's 21.79%. So finally, the ANC has crossed the 1 million mark. As you can see, they are on 1,026,928, and the DA is sitting on 500,000. While the EFF is sitting on 200,000. They finally broke that 200 mark. Behind them, the MK party is sitting at 191,000, with the PA doing very well at 95,000. The IFP, a sharer of their former self since the passing of Buthelezi, still struggling to climb that 50,000 mark. And there is VF Plus, 43. While Action SA, at least they are coming. They are trying to do something. They are sitting at 19,000, almost 20. And ACDP on 14. There goes UDM. UDM will still want that seat, and it seems like they will get it if they keep going. But we are 21% complete in terms of the vote. Triple C on 10. ATM, hopefully also he goes, because not going to parliament would be a disaster for them. Good. Patricia Delile is on 8. Raz Mzansi is still struggling on 7. People are saying that they blew a lot of money, these people of Raz Mzansi. They could have just deregistered that party before the elections so that they can save all that money. Bossa, Musi Maimane also. Another disappointment following Raz Mzansi. Now they are categorized in the same league as Al Jama. And there's PAC also, who's sitting at a position which is a a worrying one because there are 6,444. UAT, NCCM, Hope for SA, and there's ACT. Ace Makashule is also not going to parliament at this point. You must just pray that there is a miracle somewhere. Some people voted for him, because if not, it's going to be a disaster. Zapo, AM4C, and let's see who we can notice out of these guys. ACM, Cloud is just increasing by 4 votes each and every time they update. He's not going, he's been in that 700 for a long time. But yes, these are the national, so we are going to do a round of the provincial so that we see how these guys are doing provincially. We're going to start with the Eastern Cape in the provinces. And the Eastern Cape still sitting at 25, there's an increase, 25.84 complete. And the leaders are the ANC, the DA, and the EFF. A comfortable lead by the ANC on 64.79, while the DA is sitting at 14.84, and you have the EFF on 9.54. I'm not sure if you guys are around, because it seems like you're sleeping. Are you there? We're noticing a slight change in the fact that both the DA and the EFF are growing slightly, but we know they're not going to challenge ANC, because at this point, ANC is huge. And I'm happy to see UDM is coming now, because I was very worried about the fact that Bantu Olomisa says, I want to be the premier in Eastern Cape, but how are you going to be a premier if you can't even break that number 3 position? But he's sitting at 10,000, so hopefully he goes. And as you can see, the PA is also coming along in the province of the Eastern Cape. MK is on 4,000. You have ATM also coming. It is the province too. And then the rest of the parties, Action SA is sitting there at 2070 of the votes. And Bosa can't even break the 1,000. 988 together with Razim Zanzi 974. These ones should form a league, a partnership, a tech team, if you will. There is a COPE 399. That is very low for COPE, and IFP doesn't have support in the Eastern Cape, as they are still sitting on 280. 25% complete, probably 74.20 still coming. And then the rest of them are just having less than 100. Even Sarah is on 59. They should have not made a split from COPE. These guys, they should have just set with COPE. That is the Eastern Cape. That is led by the ANC. So do a count. ANC out of the province, they have the Eastern Cape. That one is confirmed. And DA and ANC and EFF, sorry, are second and third. The province of the Free State. In the Free State, the ANC is leading, but the leading is a bit worrying, because it's not the same as the lead that we saw before. They are sitting at 52.67, while DA is at 21, almost 22, and the EFF is number 3 with 12%. The province of Ace Makashule has Freedom Front Plus on number 4, as expected, with the MK going for number 5, and they're increasing. They should be doing 5,000, which really says that people would think that Zuma is only liked in 2 provinces or 3 provinces. They should really look at this result, because to have 4,000 or 5,000 voters before the completion, 33%, it means by the time it's 100%, he might be over 10,000. And having 10,000, it's what people like Ace Mahashule would wish to get. But unfortunately, they are nowhere near that. As you can see, there is Claudi there, ACM 744, and Musi still struggling with 425. Even the IFP just having 417. The prophetic says we are here. Thanks, man, for the podcast, Malema for president. Malema, I hope Malema also wishes he can do well, because at this point, hey, it's a problem for Julius, because they are trying, but not being able to become number 2 in many of this is a problem. So as you saw, the Eastern Cape ANC is comfortable. But when we speak about Free State, it's a worrying one, because it's easy for them to go below 50%, but this one, they are not going to go. They love them. The Free State people love the ANC, so the worst that could happen is 50.50%. Nothing lower than that. The biggest province in terms of finance, Gauteng, this is where they sit. Second. Gauteng, they sit. The ANC 13% completed. We still have a lot of VDs to calculate. They are at 34.54, a slight increase, but also the DA has increased. And happy to see that also the EFF is increasing as they stand at 11.36%. So Gauteng is a divided province. And this is where all the eyes are looking. If you don't consider KZN, the biggest that everyone is looking at is Gauteng. People are looking to see who is going to win that province. And the answer at the moment is no one. Because 13%, the ANC is trying so hard to win Gauteng. Even if the ANC loses 3 other provinces, they won't have a problem. The main thing they are looking for is to win Gauteng, because that is the business district. The tender money is going. If you look at the budget of Gauteng, you would understand why these political parties want to rule Gauteng. But it does seem like the ANC standing on 34.54%, they are a bit worried, and the DA is giving them a run for their money. Even if DA and ANC decided to work together, then it means it's over for the rest, because 34 and 29, they can just do a coalition. And you have the EFF sitting at 11.36. Feeling sorry for Dr. Mbuyiseni, because he is the premier candidate in Gauteng and was hoping to be the premier. But having ANC and DA and considering the issue of coalition, it will be an interesting one to look at. But don't forget, MK Party also, they are coming along nicely as number 4 with 32,000 votes. They have just been doing well in Gauteng. They are adding in other provinces. And to see the fact that at the moment they are as good as 32,000, it's a good one for the MK. Freedom Front Plus is still 3%. Action SA, that once famous political party that everyone thought it is going to change everything, it's sitting at the lowest 3%. Probably they are going to try and push themselves to 5%, which will be good. But, you know, when politicians campaign, you think that when people vote, it is going to be nicely and good. But unfortunately, Emin Mashaba is still trying to scratch his head and see if he can win. But he's sitting there on 3%. And Patriotic Alliance, they are on 1% with 5,000 votes. As you can see, IFP, Raz Mzansi, ACDP, Bosa, Al Jamaa, and ATM down there, AIC, APC, and Lindbeck. Lindbeck at least is coming along nicely. He has a 111. They keep voting for him. Last time there was not so many people voting. The previous time when we checked, it was below, but the independent, they are coming. Even Blessings Ramova is there with 101. Otherwise, you have independents doing more than other political parties. There is sun. The sun is not rising. And we are moving from Gauteng, as you can see, it's ANC, DA, and EFF. The contestation is very interesting there because there is no outright winner at the moment. And we go to the biggest one, the KZN, Uyenzeni Zuma. This is KZN. Why Malema not leading the race? He's got influence idea, Eric's Wonders from Kenya. That's the problem, my man. A lot of people that are voting are not seeing what you are seeing. So we are in KZN 11% complete. And you must know, if it's 11%, it means there is still a long way to go, but Zuma is still winning. You should not be surprised if ANC goes to number 3, but I want, before we look at the issue of KZN, I just want you guys to listen to Gwere Mantashe. He has something to say about the KZN. Gwere has some words for KZN and is not happy with the people of KZN as they decided to vote for MK Party. There is Jacob Zuma with Tutuzile, the daughter. So we're just going to listen to Gwere Mantashe and then go and listen to the daughter of Jacob Zuma.
It reflects Zulu tribalism. Now, if the impact is in KZN, it reflects something different. It reflects Zulu tribalism. And I don't think we should actually lock ourselves into Zulu tribalism. Tribalism is a backward form of politics. It is having its time frame, it disappears. So if that is the factor, I'm not worried about it. Now, if the impact is in KZN, it reflects something different. It reflects Zulu tribalism. And I don't think we should actually lock ourselves into Zulu tribalism. Tribalism is a backward form of politics. It is having its time frame, it disappears. So if that is the factor, I'm not worried about it. Now, if the impact is in KZN, it reflects something different. It reflects Zulu tribalism. And I don't think we should actually...
Gwere Mantashe says it reflects tribalism. Here's an old man who is a sore loser. He knows he's losing there, but he's speaking about tribalism. Focus on the fact that you are losing.
Is slightly higher. With established entrants, it's about 2% margin of error, 2 percentage points. So this is what we have right now. It can still change. But we are told that MK, let me start at the top. ANC predicted to get 41.7%, DA 21.2%, EFF 9.1%. There may be a slight increase there, but MK at the moment sitting at, as per our model, and this is at 2 hours ago, we were looking at 14% for MK.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
what do you make of that?
This month is coming now. Well, that's very interesting, but also something that we've been working towards, so we're not too surprised or too shocked, and we're happy with that.
Not too surprised and shocked. Were you anticipating 14? Were you anticipating more?
Well, we're obviously anticipating 2/3 majority, so wherever we land, we'll be happy.
So this is going to be very interesting because no party has an outright majority. And this means the coalition talks and the horse trading is going to start. So, for MK, what are the non-negotiables?
Well, when President Zuma made the announcement December 16, he spoke about working with progressive black parties. So that's where we stand. As long as you're wanting land back, nationalization, we're on the same page.
So ANC, are they a progressive black party? Not?
They're not. For as long as they're still run by the ANC Ramaphosa, they're not with us.
So, in no uncertain terms, does that mean that you are not open to coalition talks with the ANC?
Definitely not.
Is your father still a member of the ANC?
Yes, he is.
So what does that mean in the context of what's playing out now? You've got MK, of which your father is the leader, and he now is still a member of the ANC, Mr. Zuma, and of course the former president. What does that mean?
You might have to ask the SG of the ANC that. I'm not in the ANC, so I don't know what it means for him.
But what does it mean for MK when your leader says he is still a member of another political party?
We trust his judgment. He's very wise.
Do you think it's a good thing, though? Would that be let off the...
So, if we are being honest, the issue with MK party, they have a lot of issues with Ramaphosa than the whole of the ANC. I have no problem with the MK party, but it really doesn't make sense for them to really be solely focused on Ramaphosa. So, the ANC at the moment, according to them, is not for the black people, and they are not willing to work with the ANC. Of course, they have the lead. They can say that. But for me, if they are saying that the worst condition would be to work for Ramaphosa, that is why they are not willing to have a coalition with ANC. It's worrying. It's like they are obsessed with Cyril. And fortunately, they are leading that, and ANC can't do anything. ANC cannot even do anything. They can't force Zuma to do anything. And he's going to enjoy this moment. But again, what is Duduzile in the MK party? Is she the spokesperson or the deputy president? Because don't bite me. I am not sure what's her position in that party. But I am sure she's going to parliament. And don't be surprised. We might be thinking that Mogoeng is going to be the leader of the MK. Next thing, when people go to parliament, the leader becomes Duduzile. She's everywhere, and we know that Zuma can't go to parliament. So it won't be a surprise if Duduzile goes there and becomes the leader. Where's Ace Mahashule? Ace, unfortunately, they are not giving him the love. Anyway, let's focus on the KZN. I just wanted to look at the two issues. Gwademantashe speaks about tribalism when he refers to MK Party and KZN. But the question is, they've been voting for you, and you had the votes, and you had the premier in KZN. So now that you are losing, it is tribalism. But when you were winning, it was not tribalism. That's where the question of Gwademantashe, are you being a sore loser or what? Because they have to just accept the results and take it. KZN is leading 42%, with ANC on 21%, and followed by the IFP on 19%. EFF is below with 5,000 votes, while the DA is sitting with 22,000 votes, almost 23, with 10%. And as you can see it, in KZN, the premier candidate of the EFF is Marshall Dlamini. He's going to have to pray hard because that 2% is not going to change to 20. And there is NFP oh, they dropped dramatically, this NFP. They used to be that party that when you look at it, it was more like MK party, but how the mighty have fallen. ACDP still getting votes even in KZN. They have 691. Action SA 500. I mean, even PA is getting some votes there by the KZN. Al Jama 400 and ATM having something. There is Musi Maimani 268 again. Nobody knows Musi because they are not voting. Even Rise is still on 207. So KZN, the only people we can speak, the only parties we can speak about in KZN, MK Party, ANC, IFP, DA, EFF, and NFP. Those are the only ones you can mention in the KZN, because even if MK loses, they're still saying that they're not willing to work with the ANC, meaning they will be giving their votes or working together with the IFP. That is the only closest relationship we can think about if we speak about coalition. Mapula says MK is a family party led by Zuma, and the spokesperson looks like it's Dudu Zile. Let's go from KZN and look at Mpumalanga, which should be the ANC leading. They're still never sitting at 52% with the MK party. A very big surprise here because they disturbed the progress of EFF. They have taken the second position. The DA is very weak in Mpumalanga, and that ANC has been weakened by the MK party. If you look at it, ANC used to get a lot of votes, but there's a new kid on the block, or maybe say the new old man in the block, because he's not a kid. Jacob Zuma is giving ANC sleepless nights. They have a position. No, my man, you read it in the wrong way from where I am. I read like is following the conference resolution. Okay. So second position is the MK party. The votes that were stolen by MK from ANC are a lot. 16% is a lot of votes. So far, people that used to vote for ANC, because mostly the MK are from the ANC, and they could be coming from the EFF, some of them, but you look at this picture, it says the ANC has declined, and all thanks to MK. It seems like Zuma forming the party, he has helped a lot of people. He has helped a lot of people because he's declining the ANC, and they should thank him because he's declining the ANC as other parties are unable to do their work. Look at the EFF is sitting on 13%, and you would have thought and you would have wished to see EFF also increasing and joining the MK party, but because we are on 21, just maybe they will go up to join the MK party and reduce the ANC. And if they do that, there's a possibility of a coalition because the DA is sitting on 11%. The DA is a party that could work with the ANC regardless of what happens. And Action SA sitting on 759, with the PA sitting at 707. There's UAT. I never checked well. What is UAT? I didn't really check well. United Transformation. United Africans Transformation. It seems to be doing well most of the times. And they have 704 votes, even more than IFP. It looks like it's still early. We'll be able to tell the direction in the morning. You are right, Nelson. It is still early stages, but remember, the early stages are really showing us how things are going to turn out. You can come in the morning to check, but you're still going to see MK number 3 and EFF MK2 EFF number 3. The changes that happen is not like it's a lot of changes. It's just percentage going up and down, going up and down. And the early stages just predicts to us what is going to happen on Sunday. Even if you leave, you close everything today, you come back on Sunday, you will still see things like this. The only difference is that you might see MK going 20 and the EFF probably going 17 or even 15. Those are the changes that could be happening. But there is Rise Mzansi 298 and the UDM Good Party. That is a Mpumalanga, and most of the region is not done. As you can see, the color that is pink is MK Party, and the green is ANC, and the EFF is red. And you look at the picture, EFF is just small regions, small areas here, as compared to MK Party and the ANC. There's also purple, which is the Freedom Front Plus. If it weren't for MK and ANC wouldn't fall below 50% nationally. Opposition parties are weak. Zamokute Tusi says that Malema messed it up with open borders. That's why SA doesn't vote for EFF. A lot of people are saying that in terms of Julius Malema, that the open borders, it is what made the ANC, the EFF lose. Because if you look at it, there were a lot of a few interviews that were done by Mbuyiseni Ndlozi where he tried to really articulate this issue of open borders better. And I saw the results were positive because a lot of people said, we understand what Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is saying, and that is what we can vote for. That is what we agree with. They are against how Julius is putting it, but we're happy to support how Mbuyiseni said it. And even Julius Malema went in Polokwane to try and clarify that issue of open borders and illegal, if you might, undocumented foreigners. But it seems like it too little too late. The issue of EFF, it looks like people had already decided, but then it's still early stages. What we want to see or what we can judge on is if the EFF loses from how they've been performing. I mean, for the past 2 years, they have been seeing an increase. There's a lot of growth from how they've been performing, going as far as almost 2 million votes. So now, if the EFF doesn't improve based on what happened last time, that would be the problem. But if they improve, I'm sure according to them, they would think that it's a W for them because a lot would have changed. Anyway, let's go to Mpumalanga. As we are busy doing this, I'm sure the national will be changing and we are going to go back to it. The Northern Cape. The Northern Cape still led by ANC, which keeps going up and down, but at 71%, they haven't won that province. Is still contested because, to me, 47, it's a loss for the ANC. The ANC wants to see 50%. So we are going to sleep knowing that there is no outright majority in the Northern Cape. The ANC will not win that because there is the DA with 23% and the EFF on 10%. So even this one, the EFF is below the DA, meaning that if there has to be a coalition, a lot of parties would have to take place. Even looking at Patriotic Alliance, they're standing at 9%. MK has 1.5 votes, which amounts to 0.64. And there is Action SA with 0.51. Again, Rise Mzansi, a lot of budget, but no results. That is the province of the Northern Cape, and it's very small compared to the rest of them because not many. I'm sure there's no province that is on 71%. It might be the only one. They are almost close to finishing. And Limpopo, the province of Matamela and Julius Malema. Limpopo, we thought they would be neck to neck with ANC, maybe because of the bars, but the EFF is sitting at the second position comfortably at 12%. But hey, people love the ANC. 10% counted, and look at these regions. Look at these districts. All the ANC and the EFF is on second position. But when you look at the colors, it doesn't show the EFF unless the 14,000 votes, they have it from a smaller districts. Because it's not indicating where the EFF is sitting here. So the EFF is sitting at second position, but when you look, it is the DA that has some of the places filled in colors, but not yet the EFF, which could mean that the EFF is probably still coming. They are jogging now. They are warming up. Just a second. Looks like I didn't put my computer on a charger. Just a second, guys. On the comments, someone says EFF, Viva MK, but think about it. MK is a new party and already number 2. Of course, a new party already at number 2. That is very good. They're doing good for themselves, to be honest, and they need to be applauded for that. It means they are disturbing the ANC, but here is the picture. EFF number 2, no red color, which could be the reason that EFF is coming. Sooner or later, we will see red colors here, and they would probably decline the ANC. But 71, ANC has already won Limpopo. With that 10%, 71, imagine the rest of them. ANC has already won in Limpopo, and number 3 is the DA with 8%, with a huge margin from 8 to 2% VF plus, and you have okay, the almost of those and closer to getting 1%. UAT still doing getting those votes 918 with a 0. You seem to be you might be right. I don't know why, but let's see. I keep having an issue with my network whenever it's passing 2 hours. We've been live for 2 hours, and every time we go there, we seem to be having a problem. But it does come back again and again. Let's just hope it does come. I think it's just refreshing. Hopefully, it comes back to life. Guys, just a second. Don't go away. You know how these things work. Seems like the fiber has its time. When it's 2 hour mark, it starts behaving like an unruly political party. Hopefully it gets back and we are back. So at the moment we are on Limpopo. I would like to continue, but only when things seem to be okay and you guys can hear me clearly. Unless it wants us to take a break, because we still have that 8 o'clock live stream from the IEC. Are you guys able to hear? Okay, hopefully you guys can hear. But anyway, I'm going to move from Limpopo, going to from Limpopo going to the northwest. And this is the picture in northwest with just 16%. The EFF is giving pressure in terms of growth. They are going up. As you can see, we have the ANC sitting at 63% of the votes with 16%. The EFF has some support that side. They are on 17%, 14,000 as compared to the 53,907 of the ANC. The ANC is in yellow color, and sorry, the ANC is in green color, and the yellow color belongs to the DA, with the red belonging to the EFF. And again, it's just small area belonging to the EFF, and you have the VF plus. Hi, can you check Pumalanga? We'll do that. Don't worry. With the VF plus, having covered enough area, but unfortunately they are just on 1,249. No, that's MK. Sorry, they are just on 3,378, and MK sitting comfortably, getting those thousands. Remember, they said 2/3 majority, but we all know that's not what they were after. And their mission seems to be getting closer to be accomplished, because MK Party has KZN and they have a lot of support in Gauteng, and they're declining also in Mpumalanga. They're declining the ANC. So when you get 1,000, for them it's a win. There is Action SA, and I'm just gonna check. Let's complete these places, and then we can go to whichever place that you want to check. The Western Cape. The DA goes from 50 to less than 50, and they are climbing. 32%, the DA should be praying that Western Cape stays with them, because if they lose, it is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Let us see. The yellow color belongs to the DA with 49.32%. And the ANC has taken the color green, and then they have 20.88%. Patriotic Alliance took 52,000 votes, probably from the DA, and they have 11.51. And remember, there are people who felt like the Western Cape, if the DA are not doing well, they were voting for the ANC. Now, when the PA came, people believed in what they are told by PA. That is what you see. The trouble for DA in the Western Cape is Patriotic Alliance. That is why you see them hoping to get that 50% mark. And if they don't, they must be prepared to work with Patriotic because unless they choose the ANC. But if not, they must be prepared to work with Patriotic Alliance, which always told them that their time in Western Cape has come to an end. The EFF failing to get those much needed votes, they are on 4% with 19 votes in the Western Cape. There is the Triple C still doing good. VF this time low amounts, and MK Party just got they just received 2,466 in Western Cape. Another W for the MK Party. That's a win because getting these votes in Western Cape for Zuma it's a win. And how about Mbuiseni? But before he not Mbuiseni, how about Musimaimani? But before him, there's Ashmat Zaki. Ashmat got 1.9 votes, more than Bosa. He's an independent candidate. He got more than Musimaimani, who should be respected by the Western Cape people because he was that guy who was a leader of the DA. But once you go out of the party, they no longer know you. As we see Bosa being low as 1,929. There is ATM, PAC, Rise Mzanzi, who are the other? Action SA getting 1,000. Okay, we have completed the provinces. I'm not sure if there's anyone who wants to check a certain province. ANC is dominating in it's gonna die. I'm paying a lot of money for the fiber. Upgraded it so that it can try and work well. But they are delivering the same service as the ANC because one moment you are live, the next moment they're telling you that the connection is bad and it's a fiber. You shouldn't be doing this. Anyway, guys, we continue. It seems like it's back. Okay. Tops says Pasha Tops says let's check Gauteng before national. Okay. You wanna see Gauteng? Where's Gauteng? Okay, there we go. That is Gauteng. The top teams in Gauteng are ANC with 34 votes, followed by the DA 29.85 and 11% the EFF. Warring one there by the EFF. Are they going to win? And then, as you can see, feed your eyes. There is the picture. MK followed the EFF. Okay, we are on Gauteng, guys. We are on we are on Gauteng at the moment. I mean, which party in particular? Because Gauteng, they have 13% complete, and it's a long way to go. 13%, we can't really be calling out a winner yet, especially when the ANC is on 34. They are seeing a ghost, they are seeing flames there. They can't even believe it, that 34%. We are used to be leading by 50 something at this stage, but the voters are disagreeing with what ANC would like to do. Guys, if you can keep just clicking that live stream, like on the live stream. If you haven't clicked, please click do so. If you have already clicked that, you don't need to do it, just to keep the likes going up. Anyway, this is the picture of Gauteng with MK Party on 32,742, amounting to 9%, just behind the EFF. And then 13%, it means there's still a long way to go. And Action SA, it's waking up from the dead. 3%, amounting from the 11,339. And Patriotic Alliance is also there. IFP, Rise Mzansi on 3,000. And Bossa, my man Musi Maimane, a letdown of the year. And Cope is can't even break the 500 mark. Even Sarah has done better than Cope, because it's a breakaway party, this one. Independent candidate, Annalem Da, is on 231. And let's see, ELS, SA, OHM. These are the parties that are wasting the space. And another one, Shiluva. I mean, what a letdown. Shiluva could have joined forces with Musi and Herman Mashaba. Maybe they would have improved. But to go and get 100 votes, while 13%, 13 is a lot. They've already counted 13%, and you have 100 votes. Oh, that's a problem. I mean, him and Lindbergh should be competing on who's better, because the other one is on 111, and Lindbergh hasn't changed since the last update. Even Blaise and Ramo were still on the same. These are the independent candidates. Mavela says what happens in KZN. We can check that. I just want us, before we go to national, while it's busy updating, to just go to the areas that you guys want to check. Here is the KZN, still MK. KZN, we still have the Mkondo Wesizwe party, and it's on 42 with 11% counted, and the ANC is on 21%, the 45,000 votes. But we must just note that there's a long way to go for KZN, because they don't even have 100,000 of voters for one party. The closest is MK party, sitting at 92,595. But it's a formidable force. No one is challenging them at this point. But again, as long as they are not on 50%, the dream of Zuma can be just stopped just like that. Look, if IFP and ANC decide, let us stop MK party and call other parties to work with us, probably EFF would not agree, but they can still defeat the MK party. It's going to take a lot, but they can still defeat them. As long as Zuma is not over 50%, he cannot sit there and be comfortable, because it's a long way to go. But 11%, there's still a long to go. I mean, look at how MK has covered the field. It's MK everywhere, and by tomorrow, we could be having 50% of the votes, and probably MK is going to be covering all the place and going above 50%, which is going to make Zuma happy. The Patriotic Alliance is doing, of course, is doing well so far. In KZN, they got 473 of the votes. Why is EFF not gaining as much? What on this on the ground is that people really complained about open borders, but that is just a speculation. Even before we get the overall complete counting, until we see that, then we are going to say that they have lost support. But so far, 22% is scary, but they still hope. And that percentage that you look at, the story is just that when you look at it, the areas that have been counted are the ones at the lower on that are lower on the map. The coastal places, I mean, you have what is this? Northern Cape, you have Western Cape, and Eastern Cape. These are the coastal areas, and then of course KZN also a coastal one, but they have not yet been counted closer to being half. But these areas, that's where the voting has been completed, the counting has been completed, and that is where you can see that it is probably amounting to that 22%. The ones at the top, they have not yet even went past 20%, so a lot still remains to be done. So this is what national looks like. Let's update it for the last time. Last time we updated, it was 21. Now they are sitting at 22%. Here's the picture. ANC has increased the 1 million with 40,000. The EFF increased with 13,000, and the DA seem to be increasing with 50,000 of the votes. MK is still standing still. I think last time they were on 93, so they are just increasing with 2,000, slowly but surely. With the KZN coming in, they would probably break close to 1 million. The PA you were speaking about, DK Lady, here's the PA on 97,000. DK Lady, true, still long way to go before we conclude about possible coalition in KZN, and it's really possible. In KZN, there's a possibility, but as long as they don't lose the MK party, as long as they don't lose that 50%, there won't be a possibility of a coalition. That's what they have to work on. But looking at the turnout and looking at the number of completed votes, really, you can just say that there is no negotiation in KZN. Zuma has won. He has a chance of putting the premier of that province as Duduzile, or he can call Jabulani back and say, we are repaying for expelling you. Now you can become the premier. As Jacob Zuma won't be taking part in any of the things here. Is there anything that you guys want to check? Of course, we can go and check on the trends on Twitter on what's going on the ground. Election results. These are the stories of the Eastern Cape. The Eastern Cape is voting for ANC left, right, and center. But you have pictures like this, and the people still continue to vote for ANC. The problem is not the ANC. The problem is the people. Because you vote for the abuser. This one I'm not going to check. You vote for the abuser. even though things are not making sense, and this is what you're going to get.
Sure that the dignity of African people is restored. So this is electionary. I have to give our supporters that confidence, but that is not a sign of desperation. I will be at the IEC Center, no matter the results, to accept defeat and congratulate those who have won. That's what democracy is about. You don't cast aspersion, you don't start.
I think, guys, I don't think we have to go on past the time that we have already done, which is 2 hours, 21 minutes. But what I can say is that we will be listening to the briefing at around 2000, 8 p.m. So meaning and at 7:30, we can start another stream just to check on the latest updates in terms of the counting. Since we are having issues with network, it's probably about time for us to leave so that when we come back, we would have rebooted everything and then the stream can go on perfectly. I do thank you guys for keeping tuning in to the channel, and don't forget to subscribe. And if ever, well, as I was about to leave, the network comes back, which now gives the question, do we leave or do we keep on staying? What do you guys prefer? As I was saying, subscribe to the channel. To those who are generous enough, there is something called membership costing just 5 rands, which helps the channel to go. You become a member for a month, 5 rand, and it keeps us going and helping us to grow even more. But that's a personal choice. And subscribe to the channel to keep on watching. Are we continuing or are you guys satisfied? I mean, if there's no province or any place that you want to check, we can leave or we can check something. I would want to play that Julius Malema clip. If the network would allow me, let me just check. There is Claudi.
I don't have any doubt. It's in my blood. I'm going to rule South Africa. Just wait now because I'm going to have more time to make sure that we mobilize people of South Africa. I'm going to change it. I know the current president, he is not going to be able to deliver. It's just promises. Me, I'm not a promiser. I don't know what is promise. I'm a doer. And people of South Africa, they know that.
People like, who is this guy? Claudi. They are comedians in this politics. Comedians. They are just there for comedy. That's all. I'm going to be the president of the country. Look at how he's standing nationally. Where is Claudi? Let's see where Claudi is standing. ACT is Mahashule and ACM. They have this thing of AC. Why are they having ACT and ACM? Anyway, Claudi is standing there on 799. 799, and he says he's going to be the president of the country. 799. Come on, these people should have shame. And then the friend, his friend is standing. Where is he? Oh, his friend is better at 16%. I'm sure he's praying so hard that there are people who have mercy on him for him to go to parliament. You know, that salary, that parliament salary, most of them are after it. And if you can't go to parliament, they're going to laugh at you because remember the story of the BLF. Remember the story of the BLF. They really wanted to change and go to parliament. They failed. Now, guys, we are doing starting with the national, I'm sure we can go over it again, the provinces. But whatever province you want us to check while we're looking at the national, you can say so and we look at it. But we have the ANC at 43%, the DA 24%, and 8% belongs to the EFF. That is how it's happening now. And 1,043,339 for the ANC, and the DA has 593,600. ANC, DA. Who would have thought the DA would have decreased their vote, because we really thought that the DA is going to go lower and the ANC is going to go lower also, but the DA is remaining strong and the ANC seems like 43% is where they belong. Just a second, guys. So who would have really thought that let's check Gauteng and Limpopo, said Mudiba. Okay, Mudiba, we're going to do that. But who would have thought that the ANC would be struggling at 22% of the national overall complete votes? They would be sitting at 43%. At this point in 2009, when Msholozi was the president, they would be probably sitting there by 50%. But how times have changed. So Mutiwa says, let's check Gauteng and Limpopo. But before we do that, you can just check the PA is below the MK, and the rest of them are just smaller parties. But let us start with Gauteng in this regard, which is being led by the ANC. But the lead is just misleading, because it's not like the ANC has a huge margin. 34% as compared to 29% of the DA. Again, the DA, I thought people have cancelled the DA. But the picture is different, because there are people who are voting. 121,000 compared to 105 of the DA means the people are voting. And there are still white spaces that needs to be filled in Gauteng. There are still white spaces, meaning the counting continues, and the EFF is sitting on 40,000. It's a good number, but considering what kind of party the EFF is at this point on 13%, it's a worrying number. Hopefully, as time goes, there could be a lot of changes, because as we see, there are places where the EFF has received support, but majority is the DA and the ANC, meaning people are voting. We will check Northern Cape, Karabo, and the MK is on 32,000, and they have 9%. Again, Zuma is causing chest pains to ANC, especially in Gauteng and KZN together with Mpumalanga. That 9%, don't take it lightly. If you take it and bring it to the ANC, they would now be on 45%. They would be edging closer to 50. But the introduction of the old man in the game, the reintroduction, as he said one day that we are going to meet one day, little did we know that he's talking about contesting for elections. But here is disturbing the movement of the ANC, as MK is on 9% as the number 4, and followed by VF. Action SA, at least they are trying. 11%, with the PA on 5,539, 1%. And Rise Mzansi, IFP, ACDP, BOSA, and Al Jamaa are struggling to reach that 1%. They are all below a 1 on 0.98866 respectively. So if you combine all these votes, they probably wouldn't even make the MK party votes. There is UDM and NLM down on 231, doing better than some of the political parties, parties like Shiluva. Okay, that is Gauteng. Where are we going next? Mavela says load shedding is coming back now. Not sure. Did they update something? Anyway, let us check Northern Cape. Northern Cape. This is Northern Cape. The ANC has not won it yet, and it's on 71.92, almost 72. And the picture is that the ANC is in green, and followed by the DA, which is marked in yellow. So the ANC is 47 and the DA is on 23, with the EFF running at 10%. So basically, ANC, if they don't do anything about it, they are going to have to beg some of the parties to work with them so that they can reduce the margins that we see here, because as they said in KZN, Ziakala for the ANC, and the PA also there behind they are behind the EFF with almost 10%. Freedom Front Plus, MK Party, they are getting votes even as far as the Northern Cape, 1,549, amounting to 0.64%. So they are getting votes everywhere they go. They are getting votes as far as Northern Cape. And then another question, please check. Okay. Stephen, what impact would Malema's visit to Zuma have on a possible coalition between the two? The coalition between the two is highly likely to happen. But then the question is, where is the coalition going to work, Stephen, in terms of the provinces? Because let's say MK has to work with MK has to work with the ANC. What am I saying? Sorry, I was disturbed by a comment. Let's say MK has to work with the EFF. So there is no way where the MK and the EFF votes combined could do a great work and lead. The only one is KZN, where MK currently is below 50% and EFF is on 2%. So even if they combine those, at the moment it won't make sense unless the MK keeps going and they would need that 2%. They can work together, definitely. But nationally, it won't work. GP, it won't work. If the EFF doesn't increase, it won't work. The EFF, MK has done a good job in KZN. Maybe there has to be another province where the EFF has to do good, so that maybe we can say that work together in KZN and work together on another province. There, I promise it would make sense. But at the moment, the ANC is laughing because they know that a coalition between Zuma and Malema is not going to challenge any of them. Kamogelo just knocked off, couldn't listen at work, but let's go on for another 30 minutes. Or of course we can go, as long as my network doesn't give me problems. And actually we have a media briefing that's going to be taking place at 8. And we could probably push it until 6:30. and get some a break, and then maybe come back around 7:30 so that we can have a media briefing, and after that run the stream as far as 10 p.m. or even 12. It doesn't matter as long as we are getting that 50% voting that we are looking for. Okay, let's go to another province. And then I would like to do, I don't know the difference between these two because you can check national and provincial legislature. So the difference I'm talking about is the fact that in the province, they give you comparison. But when you check the provinces under national, they don't give you that. But let's say we want to check just provincial legislature and check how these things have went. You'd find that let's start with the KZN where MK is whooping them. So MK is thank you, Barry. MK is sitting at 100,000 votes, and they are the new kid on the block, led by the old man, Mr. Zuma. 100,000. And there is no comparison because they are the new kid. But ANC, look at this. 39% in 1999 to 46 in 2004. That's when Thabo Mbeki was the president. Until Jacob Zuma came, taking them from 46 to 62. And that was another term where he got 64. That was before Matamela said, your time is up, and they went down to 54. So with the introduction of MK, they went from 54 to 20%. That's how you really see that Zuma has power in KZN. Zuma is the only leader who made sure that in KZN, the ANC increases. We are speaking about before 1994. Zuma is the only leader who made sure that the ANC increases. Once he left, they went down. He comes back, they went down further because he's coming back with new colors. And seeing the ANC on 20%, it must be a big shame to them, as much as Gwere is speaking about tribalism, but they have to be very worried. And we are still on 11.94%. And the biggest upset at this point is the EFF on 2%. And look at them, the comparison, they started 2014 on 1% and received 9% support. We are 11.94% complete. They are sitting on 2%. And they got 9% last time. The problem here is MK. The problem is MK because it created a problem for both ANC, IFP, DA, and EFF. That is why the EFF are seeing themselves on 2%. It's like they are going back to that 2014 results of 1%. Only because MK was reintroduced. And the first time, maybe after 94, because last time IFP got most of the votes, slightly beating the ANC with few votes. But now, the first time ever since 94, Congolese is losing. And they are getting way less. Even the IFP, look at them, going from 99 on 41, and now they were the last time they were 16, and now they see themselves on 19. I see a decline in them, and that decline should mean that MK goes up again. Anyway, let's go down. Any other party you'd like to see here, because the rest of them are just coming to support. They are not coming to the fight. They're just coming to be spectators. Musi Maimane and Lekota IAC, and you have Mr. Moodley wearing sunglasses, and he came and got 249, 0.1%. He must be proud of himself because he has more votes than UDM. He has more votes than Good. He must be proud of himself. Anyway, let us move to another province. Or let's just check national if there's any updates as compared to last time. 27. Oh, okay. Here is an update. There are improvements. You see, what I said is that this thing is not going to change dramatically. It's just going to be up and downs. We are almost 30%. And I think by the time we get that media briefing, we are going to be on 30%. National, the ANC remains on 42. If I was Cyril Ramaphosa, I would be very worried. Don't forget that KZN, they are not even halfway. Of course, Limpopo is going to help the national in terms of ANC, but that is a worrying picture. That is a worrying picture because we now have ANC on 42, almost 43, but they are not going anywhere. And the DA, I thought they did a terrible job. Mapula says, where's ATM? We'll check that. I thought they did a terrible job, the DA, in terms of banning that flag. But it seems like people forgive easily, or people believe that they are the answer. And judging by the budget, one would have thought it's now over with the DA and in with the EFF. But the people of South Africa are yet to give the EFF those votes they need because they are yet to break the 300,000 and they are on 8%. Nationally on 8%. But I would like to see if they are going to be on 9 by the time we hit 30. Because their history is at stake. There is 10% that they have to break. Remember, all of us thought the result would be closer to 20% for the EFF, which would mean that it's a broken political party or a broken struggle for the ANC. Now, the EFF is still sitting at 8%, 8.76, while the ANC is 42 and the DA is 25. We must be honest. The EFF will not pass the DA at this point. There has to be a miracle. And not only is the EFF fighting a long battle with catching up with the DA, but there's someone behind them, an old man who likes dancing. He's sitting on 65,780 votes behind the EFF, respectively 8.76 and then 8.38. Where are the votes of the ANC going to? Because it seems like they are taken by MK Party and also MK Party squeezing other votes from the EFF, because clearly the reintroduction of Jacob Zuma means loss of votes between ANC and EFF. I'm sure the EFF members are worried about this because it is not a good picture. Someone asked, where is the ATM? ATM has 13,000 votes. Still hoping to go as far as 50,000 to get at least a seat in parliament. ATM is sitting down there on 0.42. And as we can check, Action SA, definitely Herman Mashaba will go to Parliament. Mashaba will go to Parliament. Please share your informed opinion on which coalition would would best benefit the MK to rule effectively and progressively. Which coalition would best benefit the MK? It's a difficult one with MK because MK party can only have a good relation with the EFF, but also the IFP and MK party, it can be a good one considering the KZN. That's why I think they can work well together. I haven't seen a lot of problems between MK and IFP, hence I think they can work well together. The DA really doesn't have a good relationship with Zuma, as much as they are not fighting publicly, but in terms of working together, it's not realistic. The only one you can say that it can work well, it's MK party and IFP, or MK party and EFF. But our biggest problem is that in terms of looking at that, MK party is increasing, but EFF in KZN is not increasing as much as they would want. So that's where the problem of who do they choose if not EFF? Then I think the reliable source would be the IFP, because when Zeni Zuma is not going to be allowed. If they work with ANC, when Zeni Zuma would not be saying. Linda says, check Mpumalanga, my brother. Okay, I will check that. Here's Mpumalanga with 21.54%. They are sitting, the ANC is still comfortable. And it's good to see that there is a challenger. 16%, 28,873 of the votes were taken from the ANC easily, with the EFF coming along on 13% and DA on 11%. That is the picture of Mpumalanga, ANC in green, and you have what is the other one? The DA in yellow, and the pink is the pink one. We have Umkhonto Wesizwe in pink. That is what we are seeing. So basically, that is the picture of Mpumalanga. ANC still leading, but the ANC could lose. So they cannot be very comfortable in terms of that. In case you want to see who's below that, this is the list that we got in terms of Mpumalanga. This is the list of Mpumalanga. Seeing the changes as they are going, 21% is not bad. They could do better, but I would like to check something in terms of these places, if we can, on who's leading and who's opposing. When you start from the Eastern Cape, is the ANC comfortably, and DA and EFF. You go to Free State, the ANC again, DA and EFF. Gauteng, ANC, DA and EFF. 3 provinces so far. The featuring one, ANC, DA and EFF. KZN, MK, ANC, IFP. Now they've taken out both DA and EFF. Mpumalanga, ANC, MK and EFF. So MK has 2 provinces so far where they are featuring in terms of the votes, and EFF is back. So it seems like EFF keeps being on the number 3 spot. And then let's go to Northern Cape. ANC, DA, and EFF, again, they're back. Limpopo, ANC, EFF, and DA. The 3 are back again. Northwest, ANC, EFF, and DA. Look at Northwest and how the EFF is improving. I would like to see how they did the last time in Northwest. And Western Cape, no ANC, there's ANC, no EFF, just DA, ANC, and PA. Can the EFF remove the PA from where they are sitting, as the EFF is on 19,000, while the PA is sitting comfortably at 52,000? It seems like it might be a problem for the EFF to reach that, but they can try. So that is the picture, guys, of who's leading what. Let us just refresh nationally. Maybe something is happening there, but I doubt, as they are busy trying to reach that 30%. So, okay, there is some improvements. Now they are working fast now. As time goes, they are really working fast, because now we are closer to 30. And the picture still remain. ANC 42.47. They are still on 42. And we might see a decline there by the DA. And as you can see, the EFF has not changed. Still on that 8%. With now they've broken that 300,000. They are on 320. And now the DA will be hoping to get 1 million. It's simple. This is a problem for the ANC. The ANC is in trouble, because if you see how they used to be going at the 30% mark before, you'd really know that it's a huge problem. Take the EFF and the DA alone, they equal close to 34% of the votes. Just on 30%, they are on 34% of the votes, which tells us that the ANC should be worried. And if there is no magic, we are likely to see them remaining at 45. And 45, it's over for the ANC, unless they decide to call the DA back and say, let's work together. That is the picture. And nationally, I don't think a lot of parties have changed. As you can see, there's IFP on 78,000, 2%, and Freedom Front Plus 1%. Action SA, at least Action is coming back. They are on 80%. Herman Mashawa getting that seat in Parliament. ACDP 22%. UDM is surely going to Parliament. Bantu Holomisa. And ATM is still trying, is still struggling. He probably didn't have the budget. They are kicking him out. Rise Mzansi. The sun will never rise again for this party, because there were a lot of millions. They had money, but money cannot buy votes. So it seems, because Rise Mzansi is just low on 12%, and there is Bosa Musi Maimane still struggling to go to 12,000 votes nationally. I wonder what Musi is saying there on Twitter, because he speaks a lot. Is he happy to see himself getting that percentage? Of course, he's not going to say a lot. You don't talk too much when you are losing. It's going to be bad for your image. I hope I'm not just speaking and the network is dead, because I said we are closer to 3 hour mark. Yeah, we are just closer to 3 hour mark. As I can see, it seems like the network is pretty slow. So if we don't really have enough network, we might as well just leave, guys, and come back renewed at 7:30. What do you guys think? Should we leave it now and come back at 7:30? Because I'm sure 3 hours we've been here for some time now. Even the network wants to rest. Jeffrey, I feel sad for EFF. I wanted it to get a chance. I can't imagine myself being governed by old gogos in parliament. It's painful to belong in Eastern Cape. What did you vote for, Jeffrey? Because it seems like EC likes the ANC. And Bongani says MK party is coming. It's coming, my man. MK party is changing how people have been voting, because going from ANC to MK is a huge win. So, as I said, guys, I'm thinking we end it here. We come back at 7:30. You just have to just click the notification bell so that when we are back at 7:30, you can be notified, because from 7:30, then we are going for a briefing. And from there, we'll be just checking what's going on. But I'm pretty sure we'll be over 30%, probably by 35. Let us hope for the EFF voters that by that time, the EFF would probably go into 10%. Thanks, Barry. I think I need a break also. I've been for 3 hours. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll check notification bell. By the time 7:30 hits, we'll be here, and then we'll check what's going on together with the media briefing, because they will be advising us regarding the results. Thank you for tuning in, guys. And